Hello. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Here I am once again to flabbergast you with my lack of intelligence and skill and pretty much any of the attributes that make a competent developer while attempting to develop something. So, as the subject might allude to, there's been a change of plans. Specifically all of them. So, the artist that I'm working with, he and I had a discussion, and we decided to switch gears. The initial project was supposed to be a roguelike. However, there are a lot of complications with that, and the amount of time that would require on like the art side would probably be too ambitious of a project for one person to do. And which volume? Oops, yeah, I had the desktop volume way up. So the art was going to be too ambitious for a single person to do, or even maybe 2 or 3 or 4. And also there would have been a lot of things to get right in order for it to be even like really enjoyable on my side of it. So we decided to take a step back and maybe do things a little bit less ambitiously. That said, I'm actually really excited towards the direction that we're going to be going. So let me lay it out for you. What we kind of where we're planning on going with this. And I'm trying to think, do I want to give away the theme yet or not? No, probably not. Okay, so here is just the gameplay. I am going to create a robot, a toy robot fighting game. Meaning you are going to construct a robot out of parts. You're going to have like a base. You're going to have a body or body parts, and you are going, and those will have like attach points, and you will be able to attach different weapons onto that. Different types of things to basically just fight your opponent. There's still some things to be decided in how the fights take place. However, I do want it to be somewhat kind of like fire and forget-ish. I want to, and I don't know, there's a few different ideas that I have, and it's just a matter of me figuring out the right one to go with. However, I'm playing with the idea of making this sort of a, you create a bot, and you program it, and it goes and it tries to fight a neighboring bot. Multiplayer will be a thing, maybe not real-time multiplayer, but maybe asynchronous, or maybe what's the right word for this? But an asynchronous type of multiplayer where you'd have a bot, you'd upload it to a ranking system, and it would go and you would fight other bots that are also in that ranking system. So you could create a bot offline, upload it, and then other people could fight it, and whoever wins wins. So in order for that to work, I needed one of two things. One, it needs to be like all the bot fights, kind of like they just fight themselves. So you would create the bot, and you would maybe give some programmable instruction to it. I'm not quite sure how I want to do that yet. And then they just go and fight. And then you'd be kind of just like watching this fight. It'd be kind of like robot pit fighting. Option two is I create an AI system. which over the past couple weeks I've actually been doing quite a bit of research into machine learning, specifically what's the concept is reinforcement learning, where the actual robots learn how to fight on their own. Without getting too deep into that, I've looked into it enough to where I'm confident that I could create something that does this. It would require a lot of work, and it would be probably the most complicated thing that I've ever coded, but I think I'm confident that I could actually pull something like this off. So that is kind of the core of it, is a assemblable robot that you would put into an arena and you would fight another robot. How that fight happens, still trying to figure that out, and do some prototyping to figure out what is achievable and kind of what's fun. But that's kind of the direction that we're going. As far as the pieces that you get, we're thinking a conveyor belt, or you earn these different parts through fighting and winning, and so that way you can upgrade your bot and, you know, and create different strategies. And ultimately, I want to be able to give you the complete ability to create a completely stupid bot that doesn't make any sense whatsoever and then just falls over on its side. That, I think, is crucial to this. I want to be able to make it to where you can create whatever you want, and physics will drive how effective this bot is. So there will be some components that spin, some that shoot things, and that projectile will have some consequence. So, for example, if you put a massive cannon on top of a little bitty frame and it fires, your bot may just like shoot in the other direction. So that's the goal. That's what I kind of want to do. And in terms of like kind of how the feeling is, whenever you're assembling the bot, you're going to have some pieces around you, and then you're going to be assembling a bot that's probably maybe around this big in front of you. And then I want to do some things where we play with size, to where maybe the bot that actually gets created is much bigger. And I don't know, maybe you can ride along on your bot. So there's a lot of things that I'm not sure how I want to do this from a design perspective, but I think the general concept is awesome. I really like the idea of where this is going, and it's just a matter of figuring out what feels best, because I haven't seen anything that's been done like this before. So a lot of it, this is just going to be sort of investigation and learning and figuring it out, and then hopefully over the next few months we build something that's going to be awesome. Okay, so here we are again, creating a new project. I feel so bad that here we are like 3 episodes into this, and then I just come like do a complete reboot. But like honestly, it makes sense. Like there's really, like the project that we had before, for it to have been good, excuse me, it would have required a lot. And not just for me. If it was just me, I'd probably just power through it. However, it would require a lot of investment on other parties that they just don't have the time for it. So this way we can do something that requires less on the artistic side and maybe a bit more on my side in terms of some of the complex things, like especially if I do like the AI component of this, or maybe even if I go into a full multiplayer game, which I'm still not convinced that that's actually a direction that I want to go, specifically with how VR is at the moment. I like the idea of you being able to play a game single player and then throw your bot out there and having other people like fight it whenever you're not around. I really like that idea, specifically with how VR is at the moment. So that's where we are. So let's do this thing. Let's create this project. Tell you what, somebody give me a project name. So I like Roman, Greek, any of like the old names, gods, goddesses. The last project started off just naming it Octavius. Just anything like that is not a common name currently, but is somewhat memorable. So throw a name in chat. What do you want this project to be called? Yeah, that's good enough here. While I pick the project I need the standard assets. I'm not actually going to add in the Steam VR plugin just yet. That's going to be later. One thing that is certain is I want to start from scratch using the VRTK, the Virtual Reality Toolkit. Last time I realized that there were some issues with how I had conceptualized how I wanted some of the things laid out. So as soon as I start plugging in VR, VRTK is going first thing. Oedipus, what is that? What the heck is Oedipus Storm? What is an Oedipus? Am I saying something like, this sounds like a weird thing. Oedipus. Great King of Thebes. Oedipus. Wait, am I even saying this right? I don't even know. Okay, according to Wiki, Oedipus meaning a swollen foot. That was that was this guy's name. A swollen foot was a mythical Greek king of Thebes. Mythical? How is Sir Swollenfoot a myth? Like, surely you have better things to write myths about than Sir Swollenfoot. Oedipus accidentally fulfilled a prophecy that would end up killing his father and marrying his mother, thereby bringing disaster to his city and family. Them Greeks, man. Them Greeks. Oedipus. So I don't want to name this project off of a guy that killed his father and married his mother. Call me crazy, but that's not where I want to go with this. Yeah, that didn't bode well for where this project is going to go. So I'm going to go with the other option that was presented just now as in Morpheus, and I'm fine with that. Morpheus it is. Wow, of all the people. Ugh, I need more water. Green cup. I'm washing my green cups faster than I have had before. Like, I'm specifically washing them for the stream. More light! That way, the green cup is more invisible. Oh, it's not really working. My wife stole my, well, it's really her. Like, I have like a massive light array that's usually over there. And that's what really lights everything up for the green screen. But I really don't, it didn't really matter for like these streams. But it does matter apparently for my green cup, which makes me sad because now you can see that it's a cup and it's not just making me invisible. Lame. Alright. Standard assets importing. Meanwhile, I'll do weird hand tricks. You guys don't know this about me. I've never really. Here. Ready? Everybody's about to just like flip their stuff. You see my finger? I will entertain you while the standard assets. Yeah, watch that back. Yeah, okay. Pinky staying still. This is no trick. This is no trick. This is just my weird bones. Still importing. Okay, more tricks. There it is. Yep, that's a weird one. That's a weird one. It didn't really convey on the flat screen as much, but my hand is like made of jelly. Most people call it double jointed. Ehlers-Danlos syndrome is what I think. My sister's been diagnosed, but I just never went to the doctor. But essentially, like all of my bones, they don't connect the way that most people's do. Does that come through? Yeah, you can kind of see me just kind of like lifting my hand out of there. Yeah, that's the thing. You're welcome. That's gonna haunt you forever. Okay, we are ready to go. So, here is what I'm prototyping today. I am prototyping the assembly of a robot. Meaning, I want an object. We're just gonna do cubes and cylinders and stuff. I want an object. I want to give it an attach point. And then whenever another object is brought close, I shall yeah, got it. Whenever you have an object, it's gonna have like an attach point right here. Whenever you have this other object, whenever you bring close, it's gonna like snap to it. Okay, so that's the plan. I probably didn't need my 5-hour energy bottle to represent that, but whatever. So here we go. Seen it before? Not really impressed. I can't really show it on this camera to do it right, but I can lift my rib cage in and out by like 4 or 5 inches. Like it's all just like completely. Yep. Product placement. Man, I live off this stuff. Okay, I wish that they would sponsor me. These days, man, coffee just doesn't cut it, dude. I mix this stuff into my coffee. Actually, that sounds really gross. Okay, so how do I want to do this? Very simply, an object that has a larger collider than what it actually is. On collide, it links. If you let go, it snaps. This actually sounds fairly easy. So, to get things started, let's create a base object. We're going to call this... You want to call these robots? Yeah, why not? 5-hour lost effect on me after a few months. Actually got more tired drinking it after a while. Really? I haven't gotten that far yet, but I probably should stop drinking it. All right, so robot base. All right, we're just gonna call the root object robot. All right, this robot. This is gonna be the core concept of the robot itself. It's gonna have some of the base stats. Here, let me actually open up. Here, one second. I don't know what I had open last in OneNote, and there's some stuff that I can't show you guys. Some pretty cool stuff that I have in my future, but I can't tell you. One second. Just a second. Where's it? Okay. Hold on. I'm not actually going anywhere, and I'm pretty sure I still have my clothes on. Just give me a second. Oh, that wouldn't have been bad. It's okay. But let's do... Where's my... There it is. And here we go. Lone Pirate VR. I don't know that I know of that one. That's a cool logo. Yay! Thank you. That's about to completely change out over all of the site. I think this weekend is whenever I'm finally going to be able to do it. It's quite a few things that I've had to get ready, and I just haven't had time recently. Work is killing me. All right, so this one we have a robot. This robot is going to have some... Well, do I want to have core stats, or do I want it to build... Yeah. Okay, so I want it to build. So I want to have... it's just going to have a set of attachments. Those attachments can be anything. It's going to start off with a base. Trying to conceptualize how I want this to actually exist in my code. Do I want the base to even be anything other than an attachment? I don't think I do. So, okay, let's take a step back. I want weight to be a factor. Or even do I? Like, I just want everything to be physics-based. One thing I do want is power. So I want you to have some restrictions on how crazy you can make this thing. So maybe some pieces give power, some pieces take away. So the base is going to control how much power your entire bot has. I think that's good. Cool. So in this sense, though, I still think let's call these components. No, I don't want to use component because that's used in Unity as a whole. We'll just call it robot component. Robot component. That can have power. This can either be positive or negative, so this actually works just fine. So the base gives power. Other pieces take away power. Hit points. I want all the pieces to be destructible in their own right. So if you have like a chain of pieces, and this is really a horrible way of representing it. But anyway, so you get the idea. If you have a chain of pieces and then you break this one, this guy drops off too. So each component is going to have its own set of hit points. Have I seen any of Nim Sony's work? I don't know. I don't know what that is. I don't know who that is. So new? I think I won that code during the charity event. Oh, Lone Pirate. That's right. That's right. So Lone Pirate, he was a guy that contacted me and just says, "Hey, here's some keys." And I don't think I actually had a chance to play that one. I think he gave me an extra key as well, but I just never got around to it. I feel bad. Was it good? Well, you said it was good, yeah? Oh, the game is ridiculously fun. I probably should have played it. I will have to give that a shot. So the components are going to have power. They're going to have hit points. And... do I want them to have base armor, or do I just want it to be hit points? I think the way I'm going to do any sort of armor is have components have maybe pieces on top of it that is actually armor. So components will have attached components that will have their own hit points and that will be armor. Yep. So how am I going to do damage? No, I don't want this. I want a... Yeah, I'll figure this out.
We have broken the machine. The end is close.
How do I want damage to be done? So projectiles are obvious. On hit, it does a certain amount of damage. I also want bludgeoning things. How is that typically done in a game? So...
We need to slow it down.
bladed weapons will have a collider on one edge. If that edge hits, it does a certain amount of damage. It will have another collider that would be the blunt edge. Okay, so we need multiple types of damage, right? We need damage types. Some things could be highly resistant to slashing versus blunt. Slashing, piercing, blunt, thermal? I like that idea. Fire. Okay. Resistances. Good with this. Let's say this is going to be a map or a dictionary in C#, whatever. Damage. Type 2 amount. %. Oh, nice. Jimbo, define RPG. Is it going to be a game that you... Well, no, it's really not. I would define an RPG as just something that you actually maintain a role in the various things. This one, there will be some progression, but it's not going to be a RPG. Jeff, I don't actually have a Samsung Odyssey. I have been neglecting the proper things that a VR YouTube person should probably be doing, but work has kept me kind of busy. Hopefully the next few weeks that will be calming down though, dramatically. Alright, so attached components, resistances, and damage will be based on, I think, some more attachments. So I think a raw object will have just like kind of a base blunt damage. So if a blunt object, so if an arm, or if you just like if you're a car and you just run into somebody, you'll both take damage because there's both some blunt damage there. And then I think any additional damage will still have to be defined. So if I'm having this concept of just everything is a component, then I still need to define this. So, oh, that's it. This is okay. So, I'm just thinking through how I want this to be laid out. So, an object could have potentially multiple colliders. Those multiple colliders could have different damage types. Okay, but I think inherently... No, that's okay. I can have a set of objects a set of child objects that contain a collider, and that child object is mapped to a damage type. Okay, this is how I'm going to do it. So I'm going to have another map of game object. This is going to be a child object, and damage type. All right, so it's going to check. So on collision of that child game object, that child game object is going to call into its parent and say collision enter. Oh, how do I? Is this right? Here, let me actually kind of like put this out. Let me do this here. So we're gonna have. Yeah, I'm just gonna like kind of play with a robot thing. So let's just make one real quick. What is this song? Apart from terrible. There we go. So this will be VR. This will be VR, if I can say things right. So the VR will be primarily in the construction piece, but then also you're going to be able to see the actual robot fights in like kind of like a pit in front of you. And I'm also playing with the idea of actually putting you like first-person view into the bots. And again, there's several different ideas I have in terms of how the controls are going to work. It may be hands-off, or it may be some other type of controls that you can do. Maybe some very basic type instruction, but maybe not full control. Anyway. That is sort of, I'm going to decide that once I have a little bit more of an idea of how I'm going to be able to do the robot fighting itself. So, let's say that we have this. This is a, oh, that's interesting. Okay, so two things. Note, I don't want to scale any of these components. Call this robot component base, and that is going to have a model. Sorry, I want that to be an empty. And then I also want, or let's say, okay. And inside robot component, I'm going to have a list of its attachments. So let's actually just create this as a Morpheus. Am I spelling that right? No, there's no O. Morpheus. Okay. So this is now a, let's say, wheel. Whoa. Okay. So there we have that. X should always be 0. This is not how I actually envision the actual robots looking. They won't be quite this boring. This is just for me conceptualizing how I want the hierarchy to be laid out. And I think this is pretty good so far. So Everything is just going to be nested robot components. These robot components, again, it's just going to have a list of the things that are underneath it. So there we have 4 attach points, and I'm thinking that you don't even have to put wheels on this if you don't want to. If you want to put like a gun where you should put a wheel, fine, you're just going to lose some mobility. So I'm thinking to make this like you can do whatever you want. So then now let's create a gun. So the model for this, you know, I actually probably want the models to be nested underneath an empty. For model, not that, not that. So maybe there's an attach point up here. Get rid of that. Alright, so there we have a gun. Oh, oops. What am I doing? All this just to save a few keystrokes. I'm spending so much more whenever I try doing that crazy copy-paste stuff. Alright, so there is a gun, and then let's say that we also have a axe. This axe is going to be on the end of maybe I just put a motor on it, and then you can attach. So maybe a component is a motor. Trying to think how I want to do this. How complicated do I want to get this thing? So I was thinking just having a motor. That motor would just constantly spin, or spin whenever it's supposed to, and then you can attach something onto that, because each of them would just have another attach point. Actually, I think I like that idea more. Let's explore that option. Alright, so let's say you have this motor, right? So let's just say that's my motor. And this guy, oh, that should not have been moved. Alright, so there's that. And then this guy, just to make this easy. Whoa. Yep. See, so this is how that thing would behave. Like the motor itself, because I'm actually turning just this object right here. Oops, not that way. Oh, yeah. I need to actually grab the actual motor. Yeah, because right now it's like it's all there. No, that's not right. Come on now. Okay, well, whatever. Oh, that's... yeah, I don't know. So just rotating on the Z-axis, we'll just have this thing spinning around. So this component here, the actual axe itself, is going to need sharp edge, and then let's say there's a blunt edge. Come on, Tribal, we could have a Wally on Wally fight. That's totally optional. Totally optional. Okay. So this robot will have... okay, so instead of just attachments, I also want just like an empty list of colliders. Okay, and these aren't just going to be standard colliders. These are going to be it's going to be a game object with a script on it that is a impact point, something along those lines, and that is going to have a reference to its parent. And then whenever it hits, it's going... yes. Okay, this is good. So the object itself is going to know how much damage it does, what type of damage, and it is going to, on hit, report to the object that it hits, hey, I've done this damage. Right, so if it hits to have the Wally on Wally fights. There we go. So whenever this thing is swinging around and it hits that guy, if it was big enough to hit it, it's going to report, I am this object, here's my collider, here's how much damage I do, and it's going to report that to that body, and that's going to send it up the chain. That'll work. Will the axe spin in reverse with the wheel motors, or is it a separate motor? That's the thought, at least. Cool. I like this. I think this is going to work just fine. So robot component, power, hit points. So the actual robot itself is not going to know, or sorry, the component is not going to have a list of those game objects. Yeah, because it really doesn't matter. The component itself. Well, no, I guess it should probably. Yeah, just keep reference of it. That way I can assign damage values to the main piece, and then those pieces can inherit it. Okay, so damage types. Yep. Okay. So let's call another class impact component. So projectile, like flame. Blunt, piercing. Trying to think if there's any reason to, like, impact is too specific. Do I need a base class, or can they all be one thing? I think they can all be one thing. What would I call that? Weapon component. And that will have a collider event. Travelers deep in thought. Sorry. If there's anything that you guys like specifically want me to read, please put @Tribal Instincts in it because it like highlights it for me. That'd be useful. Do I care about compatibility on parts? Are there any pieces that I wouldn't want attached to another? I don't think there is. Now I want to make sure that there's no collision, so if you try to attach it and it would force it to collide with something else, I don't know how I'm going to do that yet, but that I think will not be allowed. Or do I even care? Do I care about physics from that standpoint? So I'm wondering, yeah, I think I do. I think I want to make it to where you could make a motor that spins and hits yourself, and you kind of self-destruct. I think that's good. Okay, so that means the only thing I need to worry about is whenever it connects, will it collide? If it does, then reject. Okay. Okay. All right, let's create this. Let's create this base. Surface tension. Well, so yeah, the physics will cause it to collide. So if you have something that spins and it hits something, like you're going to lose your velocity. So the velocity is going to need to take into account. So specifically for yeah, actually for all of them except for fire. Yeah, velocity is just going to have to be a thing. For piercing, I'm going to need to know not only its velocity, but which direction it's facing. Yeah, there's some complexity with how I do some of the components. Yeah, there's some complexity there for sure. Robot component, create weapon. Probably not worth having its own class. Actually, no, forget you. Yep. Okay. So, let's go. So I'll do this proper. Dictionaries do not get represented inside Unity. Okay. However, I can make a good. Do I want damage to be a resistance to be a percentage, or just overall? I like percentage. I missed a Harbinger. Will there be a specific component damage, like if we attack the wheels, no more movement, or is there just going to be total hit points? And when you hit 0, I mentioned this before, but apparently not well enough. Pieces are just going to fall off. So if you break a wheel, that wheel's gone, and it'll just, like, if you break half the wheels off, that thing is just going to, like, roll in circles. So still physics based on that one too. Yeah, this will be a VR game. At first, I'm getting the basic components done without having to worry about putting on the headset. But once I get a little bit deeper, then I'll worry about that. There's some things that I just don't need VR to test, so I'm going to start with that. Shouldn't that be... Maybe it's not necessary. No virtual laundry basket. I know I'm dropping the ball on that one, but none yet. Alright, let's just take a look at what this object looks like real quick. Oh, you know what? They're... Blunt, pierce, slash, thermal. Energy. That's good. This really does not deserve its own class, or its own file, but whatever. Nope, not this song. I remember this one. This song is boring and it makes my head hurt. An unblockable body style of the laundry basket. I might go with that. Why isn't... I thought serializable was a... Oh. Wait, what? There it is. That's what I was expecting. Cool. Yay! That's what I wanted. Cool. So now I can give it resistances and there'll just be a base resistance of, well, 0. If you don't have a resistance for it, tough luck, you take the full damage. How much will the loot crate cost? Now you're talking. Yeah. It's cool. You know, I'll make it cheap, like, you know, $10 per item. Yeah, no big deal. I'm gonna microcharge the heck out of this game. I'm kidding. I hate schemes like that. I hate them. Mainly because I always get sucked into them like a chump. So now, presumably, cool. Yep. So I can have its list of children. That way, if it falls off, it can tell all of its children, "Hey, I've been destroyed. Congratulations, you are now dead." So these robot components, they're going to need to have a tie-in for how they want to move. I should have thought about that a second ago. So how do I want to do this? I'm gonna have some. This is going to require some thought. So let's just go with keyboard inputs right now because it's easy to transfer that. When I press W, yep, just like that. Just like that. Whenever I press W, I want things to happen. Whenever I press A, I want other things to happen. When I press G, I want even different things to happen. I want to tie them up. So wheels, they will spin whenever I press W. Motors will spin whenever I press W. Or some of the mapping. How many? Okay. Oh, okay. So let's take a step back here. So what type of movement do I have? I have spinning. I have thrusting. So let's yeah. Motor, piston. Anything else in terms of like the actual motion? Motor, piston, launcher. Motor will turn a wheel. Piston will obviously just like shoot it out. Launcher will shoot something out. I knew you guys were going to say something about that. That is a different type of damage. Yeah, let's just change. Piercing is now penetrating. Um, I can't think of any other like mechanical components that I'd want to add to this. Can you guys think of any? Motor, so cylindrical, piston, launcher's just gonna like everything can be either done with like a motor or a piston, right? Oscillator can be done with a motor still. You would just have some constraints. I'm not sure how complicated I want to get with that yet, but that is an option. I think that's good. Yep. Okay. So going back to the motion. So this robot component. Okay. So component type. This is important. Base. Base doesn't have any movement. Motor, piston, launcher. Yeah, actually, I think that's good. So wheels are going to be interesting. Wheels have their own collider. I'm going to figure out how I'm going to do that properly. Okay, all right. So I think I'm going to change how I do, or how I think about the concept of controls. So I want the controls to be somewhat simplistic. Actually, I'm thinking if you control this, maybe you have actually like a joystick in front of you in VR, and so then that way you can move it this way. So and then you can have like, so I'm thinking like an arcade in front of you for how you control it. So a joystick, maybe some buttons, some knobs, sliders, things like that. And so that would translate to Lava Melon, as often as I can. There won't be able to be a set schedule. Work just, it's too chaotic right now for me to really be able to commit to something right now. But the stream recaps will always be, I'll keep posting them in the playlist, which I didn't put that in the description yet, but I will. Yeah, I wish I had a better idea for when it is. Save. Thank you. I actually hadn't saved yet, so I'm glad you're here. What I did so far wouldn't have really been that big of a deal if I lost it, but nonetheless, thank you. I don't know, we'll just call this test for now. So, input. Joystick. I want to, I think I may even allow mapping it, so maybe, oh man, how do I want to do this? How to do this? So the movement types or the action types for a motor versus a launcher are vastly different. Launcher is single trigger. I want it to be tied up separately. So let's input controller. Motor. Let's just do this. Motor has velocity. I mean, it's really negative or positive velocity depending on how fast it wants to spin. So actually, that's just a scale of -1 to 1. So speed. Okay. Piston, actually the same thing. Actually, ooh, let's change this. So it just gets a charge. Ah, okay, this simplifies things dramatically. So a charge can just be -1 to +1. For a motor, that means spinning it one way or the other. For a piston, that means extension or retraction. For a launcher, if it doesn't get a charge of 1, then just nothing happens. Or maybe a particular launcher needs it to build, so if you don't give it full power, it just keeps on incrementing until it has enough charge, and then you can release that charge. Okay. That simplifies things a lot. So, as far as the keyboard inputs, W would just give it a charge of +1. And maybe we can make it to where you can scale. Or if you have like a joystick, and if you map the Y position to, oh, that's going to be interesting. So in order to turn, you're going to need to spin one side or the other. So let's say let's do front left, front right, back left. So W will send a charge to all. A, and again, I'm going to map these to like standard VR controllers later, but A, to turn left, is going to make the left side go backwards. And the right will be a positive charge. Right? Yeah, because then it would just spin. And so if you do W and A, then it would do an average of the two. So then the left side will only be half. Yeah. Yeah, I think that makes sense, right? Does that make sense? Yeah, pretty sure that makes sense. And then, of course, opposite for D, S would just be negative charge all. Okay. That makes sense for that. So how would you actually map this? How would you tell your controls what to do? Because a motor is just a motor, be it a wheel or otherwise. I want it to basically behave the same. Maybe just tie it up. Maybe there's just a key binding. So in VR, potentially taking like a joystick. Okay, and maybe there is an actual socket on the top of the joystick and a socket on the right side of the joystick, and you can actually take the top, wire it to a wheel, all four of them. This is complicated. This is complicated. I'm overthinking it. That's what I do, man. I overthink everything. There is no code. Not yet, there isn't. So, positive forward on the joystick. Positive everything. Negative on the joystick. Negative on to everything. Positive right on the joystick. Negative to some side, positive to the other. How would I represent that? Okay, so just whenever you tie it up, just an option to inverse. And that would just be like kind of a menu on the actual object as you're, like you can maybe select your joystick, you tie it in, let's say there's a line that's connecting the two, you're able to select that line, and then you see a menu. What happens whenever this signal comes through? There it is. Or what happens at a certain value. Yeah, okay. Okay. I think I can make this happen. All right, so input controller necessary. Yeah, so what happens to the component whenever it moves? That could actually just be an easy switch. Or, yeah, I think switch is going to be just fine for this. Okay, okay, I have an idea. So this makes it very simple. And inside the update itself, okay, okay, I like this. Base. Nothing. Oops. Local rotation times equals quaternion Euler. I don't know if this is how this is gonna actually translate, but let's make it. Let's just go with this for now. I think this is actually a feasible way of managing this, and. So as soon as you use that charge, the charge is burnt. And in this case, I'm gonna have to have some limits here. Okay. Transform.local position. Alright, it's going to be more complicated than this, but equals vector 3.lerp between base and let's just say vector 3.forward. And that will go out by the current charge. That didn't quite work with negative. Does it? No, it doesn't at all.
Answer the sound, pump up the pressure, get down, ready for your under the girl, them surround, steady them down so they can leave you now. Them I run the town, them I turn it around, bring it in the bass drop, hit the ground, mash it up in any place.
Yeah, this piston logic is going to need to be a little bit more complicated. Maybe not. Maybe just the current charge will fade. Let's just do that. I don't know. Let's just call this 0.1 for now. We'll see how this goes. And finally, we have the launcher. Launcher is going to be a little bit different. I'll figure that out later. I think that's sane. Yeah, that's sane. This is sane. So then now, there's just a matter of tying it up. No! Input control A. Oh, dang it, that's why. Every now and again, you just gotta restart Visual Studio. I don't know why it stops picking up dependencies. What do I want here? I need game object, key, and value. Yeah. Yeah.
You think I'm mad, do you?
For now, we'll do Kika. What are you guys talking about? I keep on looking up and I see like McDonald's kiosks and grammar. I'm like, I'll just let you guys continue. I'll just be over here. All right. So for now, I'm just gonna have a predetermined number of keys. So. If input dot key got key down, get key. Key code dot W.
We have broken the machine. The end is close. Today we stand united as one. Chaos and disorder is our weapon. But for now, we need to slow it down.
Oh. Whoops. Derp. That's simple enough. Ish. Adpocalypse. Guys, you know, I used to like completely think that that was shenanigans and that people were over exaggerating, but I understand why people are freaking out now. My videos, like the freaking review. Okay, so the last one, it had the word dead in it, so I guess maybe that could trigger it. But a few weeks ago, I did a review of the gallery. I had no game footage in my video, none whatsoever. Just me talking, okay? It was probably like the worst video I've ever done, but that aside, there was zero offensive stuff. No language, no like violence, no words, even nothing even aggressive. No videos, no images, nothing that could possibly be misconstrued as inappropriate for anybody. Like, it was straight up like G rated, and that got demonetized. It got overturned, like within 24 hours, it got monetized again, but still, it was initially flagged as inappropriate for all advertisers, or for most advertisers. Absurd. Thankfully, it doesn't really like impact me in general. Like, the ad revenue I get is so minuscule that, you know, if I lose 50% of zero, I still pretty much get zero, so... Yeah, it's pretty bad. Okay, let's wire this up. Actually, almost. Normally a robot won't just be like awoken like this, it's going to be assembled. That's not entirely true. But anyway, there's going to be a different class that would construct it if it didn't. But in this case, I just want to get a list of all of the children. Is that actually how I want to do it? Mr. Breaded Chicken, how many hours have I put into this so far? Are we talking about just tonight or all together? Because all together, well, I don't think that should really count because the previous streams that I did on this one were for basically, well, not even basically, completely a different game. I had to restart today thanks to some outside influences. So for 1 hour, 31 minutes, and 33 seconds have I been streaming today. That's as long as I've been working on this. And a lot of that was just in thinking. So, don't want the children to report up saying, hi, I'm alive? Or do I want the... Okay, so I think it doesn't matter because whenever I am deserializing an actual fully constructed robot, it's going to be adding in, it's going to be adding the components piece by piece, and the drag and drop mechanism actually in the game is also going to be adding it, so there won't actually ever be any child discovery. So in this case, I'm just going to set it, yeah, that's what I'm going to do. That's it. Okay. How long do I think it'll take before something is playable or ready to be, like, if I were to sell it, actually sold? Because those are two very different things. Like, I could play something within, like, play is a very loose sense of the word, but I could have something that I can, well, I can press the play button right now, but for something that you'd actually have two robots fighting, pretty decent amount of time, I think. All things together. Well, I plan on actually having a robot that I can move around, one robot that I can move around and kind of control tonight, within an hour. Whether or not, like, that won't be in a playable state by any stretch, but it will at least be a robot that I can press a button and something will occur. That's the plan, at least. Okay, so robot component, this is, you know, I'm going to start from scratch. Well, am I? No, it's okay. Okay, so robot base, I'm not going to worry about any of those values yet. Attachments, I have, actually I'm going to have one, two, yeah, 6 total attachments. Oh, right, derp. We'll just call that a motor. Actually, I'm making that a piston now. So none of this is going to work right at first, but that's okay. It's okay. Oh, I see. Let's move that up. This is actually not a thing. Later, Nightfire. Good seeing you again, bud. How long do I think it will take before it's in an alpha stage? Okay, that's a more specific question. So I can only, like, try to evaluate it in actual hours, because, like, 5 hours, that's not an estimate, but, like, just as an example, 5 hours may take me like 3 weeks to actually get in it because of my work schedule. So I can't say a week or 2 weeks, because it will vary from week to week how much effort I can actually put into this. So total effort before this is in an alpha stage. if I were actually doing it full time, I could say that I could probably have a playable prototype in 2 weeks of actual effort. So that's, 5 days a week, 8 hours a day. So 40 hours, I would expect, 80 hours. I expect I could probably have a workable prototype. And that includes like assembling a robot and controlling that robot. And that robot actually taking damage and falling apart. So like just kind of like the basic bare bones of it. In terms of an alpha, so before I can get an alpha done, I'm gonna have to figure out how to make the actual robots fight. And that is going to be a complicated thing if I do it the way I want, which involves machine learning and making my robots learn for themselves. I'm really, really, really into machine learning, and this sounds like an amazingly fun project. So I've already done some basic playing around with that, but this is like I know very little about machine learning in the grand scheme of things. I know enough to make to believe that I have the ability to do it, but it's just going to require a lot of research and a lot of trial and error before I can get this thing working right. But that's what I want to do, and that I expect that to be a few weeks of dedicated effort. And I probably won't do actually most of that on stream because that's going to be a lot of just kind of research time. I won't work on this off stream. However, I will probably have a side project where I just try to get the basic concepts of machine learning, and then I will come in here and implement it once I'm actually ready. Scrolling up to some of the other chat. So Mr. Breaded Chicken, the question back again is how long until I have a playable alpha? Anywhere from 120 hours, so roughly 3 dedicated weeks of work, to 2 months worth of dedicated work. So and that's potentially spread out over quite a long time. Now over the next few months I actually have a few weeks of vacation that I'm planning on taking, so for that I'm actually going to be able to spend a pretty decent amount of time on this. So that's the plan. User, how modular? Completely 100% modular. Components will be a individual piece, and then you can attach certain pieces onto it, and then you can just make it however you want. In each of those components you'll be able to wire them up and give them their own type of inputs and make them go. Can you just basically make one robot work and then duplicate and redesign it? Yes, that's the plan of this, is being able to just have some core pieces and then the user can assemble it however they want. And so as far as my testing, once I have one working robot, I have unlimited working robots, and then it's just a matter of creating it to where it can actually drive itself. Mr. Breaded Chicken, yeah, so that's where the complexity is. So typical reinforcement learning, which is the type of machine learning that is most intriguing to me, reinforcement learning is the concept of having a robot be given a set of inputs, or a set of actions that it can take. It has a limited awareness to its surroundings, so it can know what state it's currently in and what the, kind of its some sensors to indicate what's around it. And then you give it a reward, meaning if you do this, then that's good. If this happens, then it's bad. So have it just with very little information other than this is the things that you can do. Here is some information around you. Now go figure out what you're supposed to do to make the reward happen. The reward will be you live and your opponent dies. So this is a fascinating concept. Look it up. There is some amazing work that's been going on into this, and I think I can make this work. Now the catch of this is that reinforcement learning requires a lot of CPU time, because there's a lot of trial and error for that robot before it actually knows what to do. So I'm trying to balance how I want this to work. So there's reinforcement learning. Then there's several different types of machine learning. There's also like what do they call it? Like this is the right, like spectator, no, guided. I don't remember what the actual word is, but basically where it's more of a hands-on teaching the robot what to do, which I think is probably, like, honestly what I'm probably going to end up falling back on this, because reinforcement learning, it would require you making a robot and then just like pressing play and it learning for like hours, and then you upload your reinforcement learning algorithm. Like there's some crazy complexities with that. As much fun as it would be, I think people would get turned off by the idea of having to sit there and wait while their robot learns. So instead, I may change it up to where it more of where you teach your robot how to play, meaning it knows what inputs it has access to, and then you fight another robot, and then it learns your sort of play style. Like when there's a robot in front of you, you typically press the axe down, and then it drops it. So you could coach and teach your robot what to do. That's probably where this is going to end up. However, the reinforcement learning is still still very appealing for this, because I'm able to create AI that you could fight and could actually be hard. For example, I could make like a dozen robots, and then I could have all those dozen robots learn for themselves how to fight, and then I upload that into the game, and those would be the opponents that you fight. And those robots, they would potentially be able to learn over time while fighting you. So lots of stuff to do. Lots of stuff to do. Nice try, Pancake Jack. For Jake. You've just been blocked. Sorry. A guy just tried to say something not very nice in chat, and I don't have time for that. I don't have the patience. Oh, wait. But shouldn't components have costs or something? Oh, yeah. Sorry. Whenever I meant how modular, or like, I don't know how I answered a question, but yeah, there will be cost. Components will have energy. There's going to be weight and other trade-offs. So, for example, you can't just have like this massive thing with like one wheel. It just won't go anywhere. And also, I'm just going to have like a cap on how much on the maybe total weight and total energy that you're able to use. So yeah, there's going to be some trade-offs that you're going to have to balance in order to actually make a bot. Shouldn't components cost something? In terms of how you acquire them, or in terms of like what you're able to put on a bot? But yeah, there's going to be a progression concept to where you start off with some components and you can earn more based off your victories. Okay, so let me get back to this. In terms of how you acquire them. Yeah. So I don't know how I'm going to do it yet. There probably will be money. You'll probably, maybe even like some betting. So maybe you can bet some money on a fight, and if you win it, obviously, well, more money. And then also just beating other bots gets you more money. And maybe there will be other components too. There's plenty of options for how you can earn money, or plenty of ways that I can think of that you could earn money. And then you'll just buy them. Saving, thank you. Yeah. So Mr. Breaded Chicken, that's a goal. That is a goal. Alright, so now we have this. Now let's add up some inputs. Start with this. So now let's say and these wheels won't work just yet, but that's okay. So input controller, let's attach this one here, and we're going to say, whoa, we're going to call that W. That's going to be +1. Oh, this is going to be complicated. Yeah, whenever I drag and drop it, it's going to be easier, but just setting it up now is going to suck. Can I copy this? Yeah. Actually, let's just do this. Yay! Actually, this should just be 4. have to do something about this, but that's okay for now. Let's do 5, and this is going to be S. Now let's make that 8. That way it just replicates it down. Wait, that didn't actually do what I wanted. Dubba 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 dubba. Oh, yeah, I did. Now that's going to be -1. This is going to take some time. All right, well, actually, I'm not going to wire. Yeah, I will. All right, so 12. So if I press A, so if I press A, the right is going to have a positive charge. The right back is also going to have a positive charge. The left front is going to have a negative. And the left back is going to have a negative, right? Yeah. Right front, right back, left front. Yep, okay. So complicated. 13, and now this is going to be D. Here we have left front, left back, right front. So if I press D, I want the left side to go positive and the right side to go negative. Why did that just look weird? A, right, left, left. Oh, oops, left. Right, okay, that's fine. Okay, so now I have those controls. Now I want to do, let's say, yeah, let's do, can I do mouse? No, that's not an input key. Is it? I don't believe so. No, definitely not. So let's have that be, I don't know, K. And that's going to keep the motor spinning. Let's just say it's always a positive charge. 18. To fire the piston, we're going to hit L. And positive charge there. We'll just leave it at that. Okay, in theory, if I press play right now, I think some things will happen. So input controller. It should wire them up. Whenever I press a key, it should send the key onto these game components. These game components should take that charge. The current charge should cycle through. I did never set. No, I did set motors and pistons and launchers. Things should happen. Will they be positive things? Probably not, if I'm being honest. Oops. I'm going to create a just a quick material so that I can see a different color, so I can actually watch it as it's, hopefully, things are happening. Red.
I was thinking that maybe when you get back, you could come with me. Fuck work, fall in love right now, spend all our money.
That song sounds pretty, but then she starts saying words that I don't like on my channel. Not that those words really offend me, it just, I decided a while ago that that's just how I'm going to do it. Okay, so now I'll be able to see if those things spin. This guy will be obvious enough, but just for fun. And just for fun. Okay, so those objects should, in theory, move. I've saved. Nothing's gonna work right. That's just how these things work. So real quick, let's check. Oh, I'm not exposing it. Oh, would you look at that? Hold on. Oh, now I'm pressing A, and they're going back. Okay, now, this is obviously not what I wanted, but this is a heck of a lot more than what I thought was going to happen right now, guys. I'm not even kidding. All right, so now if I press W, they all rotate in the same direction, right? Forward, just the wrong forward. Backwards, I'm pressing S, all right? And then now if I press D, they will rotate in opposite directions. Now if I press A, they'll rotate in the opposite directions. Yeah. Okay. All right. I don't know how you got up there, to be honest, but oh, K makes this thing rotate. Oh wow, both K and L make that thing rotate. I tied up the wrong object, but look at that, guys. Not what I wanted, but close. All right. It flaps. I mean, more or less, yes. Here, let me, I don't know why they're out of sync. Oh, yeah, that's why. Can I get them back in line? There we go. Yay! Fly, my pretty. Fly. Scroll up and read our suggestion. Which suggestion? How about a research system where you research components you've obtained by defeating other bots or buying them from a black market through a mini-game of sorts? If you win, you can use scrap. Research components you've obtained by beating other bots. So, conceptually, how does beating other bots give you research? Is it you get, like, is it if they have that part, then you gain a little bit of knowledge about it, so then you can research it? Or just in general, is it like kind of like if you win, you get an arbitrary research point? And is that the suggestion you were talking about? If not, could you repost it? Cool. So that mostly worked. Here, let me just actually find out which Euler I need to modify. I thought it was a Z. Nope, that's a Z. Nope, X. Okay. Oh, yeah. So now if I do the exact same thing, we're going to get a little bit closer to what we want. Forward. Okay, they're not centered. Okay, I get that. Backwards. Okay, we'll just keep that. And left. Yeah. Wait, is that actually left? No, sorry, I'm pressing D, so that should be going right. So if right is that way, these should be spinning. Yep, that would work. No, that would be backwards. Backwards. Oops, my bad. Wait, is forward even forward? Oh, no. I have all of it inverted. So that's fine. That's actually easy enough to change. Watch, I show you. And I'm not sure if this is actually how I want to change it, but it'll work for now. Because dirty hacks are the best hacks. This song is annoying. I don't like what do you even call that? Like boy band-esque type stuff. Right. Because it's a motor. And I didn't change its axis correctly. Oh boy. But still, that's okay. So now we have forward. Oh wait, was that even? I don't even know if that was forward anymore. I don't even know, guys. And why are you moving up there? What the heck? How are you? The heck? So pistons update component type transform. Oh, that's why current charge 0. So right now it's, yeah, I know exactly what's going on. 0, 0, 0. No, I don't. Just kidding. Oh yeah, I do. This is it. Yep, that's where it thinks it is. So I need to do more than just change its local position to forward. I need to actually get something. Anyway, I'll worry about that later on. Okay, so for now, yeah, that's okay. I'll just leave that as is. So input. I do want L to be -1 on this. So actually I want a different one, 19. And the piston will go to J. 1. Okay, so motor's still gonna be broken, or sorry, the axe, but it should still not go back and forth. There we go. And then J. Oh yeah. It worked! Sorry. Yeah, of course it worked. I'm just that good. That's going the wrong way, but whatever. It's a piston! Very cool. Alright, so now let's fix this axe real quick. I don't know if I actually want things spinning on the x-axis. That seems... Do I care? How would I conceptualize it? Like, honestly, that's spinning on the z-axis. So that's how I want it to spin. Yeah. So I'm gonna fix it. I hate this, but whatever. It's gonna take a lot of manual things. Cough. What? Wait. What? Sorry guys. Or you have your team reverse engineer the tech part instead of going and researching. Oh, I see. I like the part idea rather than just research points. Seems like you beat them, but are all, hey, that's a cool thing, and then the game says, congratulations, you now know about thing, go research it. I'm trying to parse that one. Not quite sure where that one's going. Or you have your team reverse engineer it. I'm okay with that concept. If you win, you obtain a few of the parts your enemy has, but they're broken, so you have to repair them somehow after repaired. You can research it by completing a minigame of sort. It's an idea. Ranging in difficulty depending on the part. Once researched, you can create that part using scrap. So there is a theme that I'm not disclosing just yet. A general, theme. I think a lot of the stuff can still fit into that, but no guarantees just yet. Breaking things apart physically actually sounds like a pretty awesome idea. Like maybe, ooh, you're botting for pink slips. So you get one, and if you kill it, you get like its scrap parts. That'd be pretty cool. And you actually have to take a hammer and like smash it to get the scrap point. Then you have to like put it in your little piggy bank. Yeah, I can see that. Hello, there's someone. Harbinger, don't make fun of my eloquency or lack thereof. All right, what was I doing? I'm making it so that spinning on the z-axis is actually the right thing to do. So let's take this wheel. So I want to spin on that axis. Yeah. So model. Take off your rotation here. Model should not be scaled, or oops, that should be a 1. Oh, oops. Oh. Right. I thought I changed this. Bummer. Okay. Well, that's okay. That's not a big deal. So now there's that. There's that. There we have a closer. Okay. Yeah, that's good. I'll just save this as a wheel real quick. That'll make it easier. Alright, so now that I have this, that should be 0, 0 rotated 90. So now if I rotate this on the z-axis, yeah, there we go. So now I want to actually rotate this by 90? Negative 90. And then position it. Good enough. Okay. Let's give that a go. Playing is important. Is that the right way? No, it's not. Oh. Right. Now that they're actually spinning the right way, and I actually have them flipping at the motor level, then a positive charge is always going to be spinning them clockwise. We're facing out. Negative or counterclockwise otherwise. Yeah, that actually makes all the sense. Bummer. All right, left front on W. I need to invert it. I need to invert all the lefts. Okay. And that's on a W. Wait, did I get 0? Oh, I don't even know anymore. Yeah, I got it backwards. Bummer. Okay, well, hold on. Sorry, I'm missing y'all's chat. The green screen cup makes the cup look awesome. This one's not as good as some of my others, but yeah, depending on the right light, it could be nice. It's kind of sickly looking, actually. Like, especially with my hand, it's like kind of making it green tinted. But don't be sad. You helped get the ball rolling. Wait, why are you sad? Don't be sad. Nobody be sad. This is not a sad thing. Laughing with you, Harbinger. What? Oh, that. Yeah. I got it now. Nah, everybody in chat gets the credit, man. And it's all in public record now, right? The stream's down here, over there, on the bottom left. So you got the credit, man. Don't worry. Is getting the transcript of the chat a thing? Trouble Instincts needs to do that, I think. Wait, what? I mean, it's all in the stream. Watching him do this is a lot cooler than I thought it would be. Oh, well, thank you. Trying to make it at least partially interesting. You just made a doc with as much of the chat. Oh, man. Do a paste spin? I'm not sure if that'll actually let you do it. Okay. Otherwise, there's always Discord. So I had these backwards. So pressing W will give you a positive charge on left and a negative charge on right. Oh, I didn't save this. Copy. Okay. There we go. Forward is now working. I do have forward, right? Right? Yeah. Wait. No, I don't. Oh, no! don't even know what forward is. Rip. It's okay. Right? It's okay. This is just a temporary thing. But yeah, this is definitely... Oh, no, that's not true. Forward is this way, right? No, that's backwards. Forward is that way. I've been doing this backwards this whole time. Yeah, that's forward. Whee! It's okay. I should have known that. Whenever I fired the piston, it went that way. Dang it! That's backwards. Okay, let me just undo that real quick then. Not too hard. Okay. So now... Oh no, I'm just running it again. Now I'm going to add very quickly... Why isn't there like a pyramid? But there is. See? Pyramid. Yay! And now we have forward. How would I do this? Yeah, there's no good way. That's okay. That's forward. Saving. Thank you. Mr. Breaded Chicken, what are some of the attachment parts that you were thinking of adding for the robots? Anything from, what do they call it? The thing on the front of a train that is used to clear out debris. I want to say it's like called like a cow something. Like the triangular wedge at the front of the train. Anything from like that to a hammer, to a axe, to a flamethrower, to a laser gun. Like it just like kind of all over the place. It just as many as I can possibly get. Alright, so now forward should actually make us go forward. Yep, forward. Forward. Good. So now let's invert. Oh wait, hold on. What is backwards? Which run is wrong? The right side. Wait, do I have right labeled correctly? I don't think I do. Nope. Okay. Let's fix this. Oh no, this is back left. Okay. And what was it again? So that is correct. That is correct. Okay, so going backwards. So right on going back is inverted. And maybe I should just like build the interface for wiring this up in VR like right now, because that would actually probably be easier than what I'm currently doing. All right. So right side is backwards. Yay! So going backwards makes that go backwards, makes that go backwards. Oh yeah. Okay. And oh, oops. So now turning left. That is right. If I'm turning left, that right side should go forward, and the left side should go backwards. Okay, so left side is inverted on A.
Spend all our money. Jump with me. Jump with me. I've been feeling it.
And then the right will be inverted
Try it out.
on D.
Get lost, get far away, and do what we wanna do now. Jump with me. Jump with me.
Oh, oops. I got that backwards. They should all be one. Forward, backwards, right, good, left, good. Okay, and finally J. The piston is by far the best, like the one that looks closer to actually what I want it to be. I like it. I will have to change how piston works though, because right now it's just firing the entire object. I want it to have an actual like kind of piston container, so I'm gonna have to change how that model works, but that's okay.
And I know they are
Cool. So all of that works.
even though we're young and trying baby don't get no. And I know
So the problem is that wheels work entirely differently. Wheels have what's called a wheel collider, and those colliders need torque. So I'm gonna have to actually translate how I'm currently doing this, where I'm just like rotating an object to where it actually applies force when it is a wheel. How? Okay, so that won't be too hard. So if it is a motor, it's going to have to check its children, or its child, because motors will just have one attach point. And I will need to, motor will need to check its child, see if it has a wheel. If it's not a wheel, then just make it spin. If it is a wheel, then apply the motor torque. Yeah. Yeah, that'll work. Okay. So I'm not going to worry too much more about the inputs for now. I just kind of wanted to get an idea for their addition. So now, before I get done tonight, I actually want to attach an object. Can I feasibly get that done tonight? It was a long day today, like really long. I'm exhausted. How am I going to do that? Fishy Bros. I've been trying to learn Unity. Do you have any suggestions on what I should watch? Trying to learn Unity. Do you already have programming experience, or are you just trying to learn how to program in general, and then Unity as the way of seeing your code behave? So, what level of experience do you have so far? Attach points. Alright, Lava Melon. Good seeing you, man. Thank you for your fantastic contributions. See? Credit. Very beginner. So would I even start with Unity? So the problem with just jumping into Unity without any experience is there's kind of like there's an overload of information. Like you have to know quite a few things before you can make anything happen, and it's a bit heavy. So the way I got started was actually with Minecraft, of all things. I started modding and creating modifications for the game. So the game was already there. I just like tweaked some things and I added some things, and I made like the very first thing I ever did was whenever you shot an arrow, whenever it hit the ground, if it was stone, it turned it into cobblestone. If it was cobblestone, it broke it. All right, so you could actually have an arrow destroy what it hits. That's actually a fairly easy, like, sort of just tweak onto an existing application. And that's kind of where how I recommend starting out, is getting a feel for just coding first without having to worry about the heavy overhead of Unity. So I would find, like, I'm sure there's probably some Unity projects exist, like some, oh yeah, I know Unity itself, like, gives out some example applications that are completely, like, fully developed games. I'd recommend starting there and then just diving into the code and then changing it, right? Adding a small feature, and then just moving on from there. Does that help? I don't know if that's... so, like, there's no video that I can necessarily recommend you watching. If you know absolutely nothing about programming, then yeah, then finding some tutorials on the very basics of just general C# is worthwhile. I don't have any recommendations on what those videos might be. It's been a while since I've learned all that stuff. Harbinger, your chat stopped. You're the last person I've seen chatting, so maybe mine stopped too. Cool. Okay. Guys, I think I need to stop tonight. I took a 5-hour energy like 4 hours ago. And already it's fading. False advertising, huh? But no, today was such a long day. I am shocked that I was even able to get this into it. I don't know if you guys can tell, but I'm like, my words are just kind of like slurring together. So how long have I been coding? How long has it been now? So I started learning how, actually, when was it? 2012? That sounds about right. Yeah, so right about 5 years ago is whenever I actually started learning to program. I knew some basics, like I like played with PHP, which is just like a web backend server or web server front-end kind of language. I did a little bit of that a long time ago, but then I stopped, and I didn't do any other coding since. And then about 5 years ago is whenever I actually started picking up Java. It's only 8:48 here, but I get up at 6, and I had a pretty heavy day, so I'm just out of it. It's not necessarily because of how many hours I've been awake, but just because today was brutal. But yeah, so I started about 5 years ago with Minecraft, and about a year, 9 months after like really actually starting to learn Java, I got a role at the company that I'm working at now as a software development engineer. So kind of a crazy jump into that world, and I've been there ever since. Life story. Okay, guys, I'm so tired. Yeah, I'm gonna go. I don't think I can really get anything else productive done. But still, not a great amount of progress, arguably, for the 2.5 hours that I spent on this. But still, I think I got some good pieces in here, and I've figured out some things that I wanted to do. Uh-oh, that's a bug. If you hold down like forward and left, one of them stops. So now it's going to be turning right. That's gonna be turning left. So if we hold on forward and turn left, yep, it'll just turn you left and do nothing else. So anyway, I'll fix that later on. But all right, guys, I will be. I don't know if I'm going to be streaming tomorrow, but I got a key for some game that's coming out soon. I forget what it is. But anyway, I may stream that. I'm not sure yet. But no matter what, I will probably be doing some more streaming this weekend on this project. So, all right, guys, stopping this for now. Thanks for hanging out. I'll see you later.